Okay, what we're going to do today is a little shell programming. We're going to calculate your age with two parameters. A couple different ways we're going to do this. We'll begin by using the program nano, and we're going to call it yearborn.bat. So we begin with a variable called this year. Now I've got, it's case sensitive, so this year all capital letters equals $ parentheses date, which is lowercase, plus percent capital Y, which is the 4-digit year, close parentheses. So that in effect is whatever today's year is. The next two are going to be read statements. Minus P tells you you got a prompt coming. The prompt, what year were you born? And it's going to create a variable called year born. And did you have your birthday yet this year? Yes or no. That has a variable that's going to go into a variable called yet. So read minus P means from the prompt, or with a prompt. At that point we can calculate the age variable, and arithmetic goes between double parentheses. So I have age equals $ double parentheses this year minus year born. Notice that this year and year born, when you're using the variables, they have a $ in front of them, not when you're creating them. And then we're going to create an if statement. Notice an if begins with the word f and ends with the word fi, in other words, if backwards. There's also two brackets, $yet, exclamation point equals, of course, means not equal to, and then in quotes we have the word y. So if yet is not equal to y, then, and I've got a semicolon in there before the then. So it's a little different syntax than you may have seen elsewhere. Age equals age minus 1. So in other words, if you haven't had your birthday yet this year, then we're going to subtract 1 from your age. You're still the old age. And then we can just have with an echo statement, at the moment you are whatever $ age is, years old. So that's one way of doing it. Very simple. The other thing I want to point out though is I could have put the exclamation point equals together. Instead of being separated by spaces, I could have had it together. What I couldn't do is have one side have a space and the other side not have a space. It's got to be one or the other. You can't have one of each. Now, to make this run, I've got to use the change mode command, plus X, make it executable. And when I run it, it says, what year were you born? I typed in 1995. Did you have your birthday yet this year? Yes or no? I put a no. At the moment you are, in this case, 22 years old. It gives the answer. Now I'm going to go back and change that year born and the yet. Instead of having them be read from a prompt, from the command line, we're going to have it be $1 and $2. Those are parameter 1 and parameter 2, so we could have it right on the command. As I type yearborn.bat, I could add those in there, and that will give me that answer. While I'm at it, I'm also going to throw in another conditional, a compound conditional. So yet not equal to y, and, that's the double ampersand, yet not equal to n. If that condition is true, then it's not only going to echo you must enter either a y or an n, but then it's also going to exit, so the program won't run. Let's see what happens here. Well, when the first time I run it, it says 1995 and n, and it gives me the answer. But then I run it without the parameters, and look at this, I get an error message, and it even tells me I'm minus 1 years old. So the program still executes without the parameters, but we need the parameters. So how are we going to solve that problem? Well, we're going to add a few more lines of code. Num equals $, pound sign. That pound sign you might think of as a hashtag, but before it was ever called a hashtag, it was called the pound sign, or pound symbol. So that is going to give me the number of parameters. So then if $num is less than 2, I know I didn't get the right parameters, so I echo you need to add 2 parameters, year born and yet, and then it exits. Alright, notice this case I put exit semicolon. In the other previous case I just put exit. Doesn't matter either way. So now we run it and it says you need to add 2 parameters, year born and yet. If I add the two parameters, 1995 and X, it gives me the message you must enter either a Y or an N. And then if I run it properly with the year born and N, it gives me the answer. Obviously, I have not accounted for whether or not they gave me a 1995 or some valid year, but that's a whole nother thought.